The go-home show to WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw took place tonight in the WWE Performance Center. WrestleMania is just 5 days away. Night one takes place Saturday night. They have 15 matches officially confirmed. I think we might get one more to get to 16. I'm not sure, but we have the matches. The show's done. It's been in the can for a few days now. I'll do my predictions for the show. This is not WrestleMania. It is WrestleMania in name only. That's it, name only. Not a real WrestleMania. It's sad they're using the name. I'd rather them just not have WrestleMania and call it. Just do these matches on Raw and SmackDown. Blow off the feud. Have an off season. When you come back, you come back. And there's no WrestleMania. WrestleMania 37 will be massive once you actually have a real one. That'd be like a 2-year gap without a WrestleMania, so 37 will be huge in LA. But don't do WrestleMania this year. I don't think SummerSlam's even feasible. I brought up the idea, cancel SummerSlam, or actually move SummerSlam to another day and give the show in Boston WrestleMania. I don't think this thing's going to be cleared in August, so... there's a good chance this goes past SummerSlam, past Survivor Series, maybe past the Rumble, maybe we don't even have WrestleMania next year. This is how fucking terrible this thing is. But it is what it is. What are you going to do with this fucking coronavirus? However, we had one of the best promos of the year by The Undertaker. Undertaker is shown in the dark room wearing his street clothes, and this is the American Badass. We did not necessarily see... him falling in the American Badass. He did do the rest in peace at the end, and it was in a graveyard, so it was kind of a mix of the Dead Man / American Badass. But this was an American Badass Undertaker. He rips into AJ Styles. He says AJ must have really big balls or really just that stupid. He's heard a lot worse from better people, but admitted some of Styles' words were true. He says he was right not to want to face him 10 to 15 years ago because he was happy being a big fish in a small pond because he couldn't hang with the likes of The Undertaker, Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, and Edge. He didn't wrestle Booker T in TNA. I think he may have wrestled Mick Foley in TNA. And Kurt Angle, he wrestled Kurt Angle a million times in TNA. So, yeah. That does not hold up well. Is there even a chance he might have wrestled in Eddie Guerrero in WCW? I don't know, probably not. I think that's not true. Okay. He understands why Styles said what he said, but I think he's mad because Michelle McCool, Undertaker's wife, he's mad because she took his finisher to Styles Clash. She made it look better than him, which is not true. And he promised to make him famous, which is a classic American Badass Taker, Big Evil Taker. This was more Big Evil than the American Badass, make you famous. That's the cool line. He says Styles will hurt, he will suffer, and he will rest in peace. And they show an AJ Styles tombstone. This was a hell of a promo by the American Badass, but he went back to Dead Man. And the Boneyard match, we're going to get Dead Man Taker for sure. Tom Phillips and Byron Saxon are the announcers. They announce a 6-man tag no one cares about. They show Becky Lynch on the stage, and she recalls fighting 2 champions last year at WrestleMania, and it immediately goes to the full match. Last year's main event is being aired on Monday Night Raw for the go-home show to WrestleMania 36. I don't think that's happened, but last year's WrestleMania main event. Here we go. Ronda, Charlotte, Becky, double championship, winner take all, Raw SmackDown Women's title, main event of WrestleMania 35. I thought the match actually came off better than I remember. When I watched it a couple of times. When I first saw it, that was good. Second time, it was so botched. It was not very good. Now I watch it again. It was okay. It's just when you watch as a whole show, people were so exhausted. I was exhausted. The Kofi thing drained a lot of people. Seeing him win the belt, it was such a weird show the way they placed. I think that Brock and Seth opened the show, so everyone was drained. And you have fans in there for 7 hours. Before it starts on midnight, so you have 7 hours. People are sitting on their ass for 7 hours. They were exhausted, so maybe that was a problem. That's kind of an example of why you probably need a 2-night WrestleMania match like that. Probably could have done better if it was main eventing a 4-hour show, but 7-hour event. And I think that was the big problem. It was still okay. Becky, of course, gets the win, and I didn't realize how big of a botch this was, but it was a massive botch for Ronda because her shoulder was a full inch off the mat, so that was a horrible botch. But we come back, we see Becky Lynch, and she's still on the stage, and all of a sudden, Shayna Baszler sneaks up behind her, and how does she not notice her? Well, she does. Puts her in a quarter feet clutch. Becky tries to fight out. She still has her, and she smashes Becky's head against the announce table, and she lifts up Becky, kind of like how she had to Liv Morgan Elimination Chamber. Lifts her up and like slams her sideways, kind of like just throws her into the announce table, destroys Becky, grabs her belt, puts it on Becky, leaves her laying, stands over her, and that gives Shayna the big heat. So usually something like that, Shayna gets the upper hand on Becky, that means Becky's winning. That's how the role is usually played. I'm not sure that's going to happen this time. I highly doubt it. I do think Shayna's winning, but could Becky win? Of course. I wouldn't be completely shocked. I mean, we've seen way more shocking things at WrestleMania. But sets it up. Aleister Black kills Jason Cole. And then you have Kevin Owens in a 6-man tag, teaming up with the Street Profits against Seth Rollins, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory with Zelina Vega. So, worth noting on his rise out of WrestleMania, and Zelina Vega will now still manage Angel Garza, but Austin Theory's his partner. And that's going to be their match with the Street Profits at WrestleMania. If you told me a year ago, WrestleMania 36 tag team title match, the Street Profits taking on Angel Garza against Austin Theory, 4 guys who are not on the main roster, and they're going to wrestle in the Performance Center, I thought you're fucking crazy. But, that's what we've come to here. But Street Profits with the win. They get it here. Them and KO get a win. It was a long match. It was definitely, it was 13 minutes, so they got time. They get the win, and Owens, after the match, Rollins gives Owens a curb stomp, and they're hyping up Rollins and Owens, but what are they going to do? It's hard to get anything. So they had Owens sit down in the ring. He said Rollins kicked him some sense into him. He talked about what Rollins said last week. He had a lot to say. He recalls Rollins, people should be thankful for him for the Performance Center. It went on for a while. And eventually he sets up and said on Saturday, so I guess they're wrestling on Saturday, he would prove that Rollins is not a messiah or a god. He will take his first WrestleMania from him. Owens would be the one to burn it down. So that's not true. Take his first WrestleMania. Seth Rollins lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 31. So, I mean, he did win the belt later that night when he cashed in Money in the Bank at 31, so I guess that doesn't count. But he won every other time, but he did lose 2 rings in the middle of the ring. But I guess the other ones were Rollins. I guess because it ended well for him that the match doesn't count, but he did lose before. Edge cuts a very good promo, went on for a while. A lot of the same Edge promos we saw in 2006, 2007. I don't mean to rip on him, but I've seen these promos a lot. He represents Randy. He did really well. Just, it is... it's hard to get into it because I'm not that interested in watching this show. Asuka kills Kaden Carter, and they officially announced it's going to be Asuka and Kairi Sane defending their women's tag team titles against A Moment of Bliss, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. So what I think is going to happen there is I'm not sure who's going to win. I think Asuka could win, and she just dominates everyone. But I think Kairi's probably going to leave. I think she wants to go to New Japan or back to Japan. She wants to go home. I don't think it's really much against WWE. I think she misses home. I've heard that about Io Shirai as well. They both miss home, so you could see both of them leaving. But I think Asuka will stay. They show footage of Charlotte attacking Rhea Ripley backstage. They aired a Brock Lesnar Rey Mysterio match from Survivor Series this past year. Instead, to give a match to make Brock look dominant. Don't care. I forgot that match even existed. They run down the full WrestleMania card, and they still did plug Goldberg and Roman Reigns, so that's interesting, but I'm sure. I think it's going to be Goldberg and Braun as the final match. Eventually, we get a Brock Lesnar Paul Heyman segment. Oh, I don't care. Long promo. Wanted this to end. That's it. Heyman says McIntyre will be Brock's bitch, and seen this from a million times. That's how the go home show to WrestleMania ends. I'm just gonna leave it at this. It's just a really unfortunate situation. It's one of those things in which, we're just going to be thinking back at this WrestleMania during this coronavirus pandemic. It's, That'll be its legacy. It'll be like, that was the WrestleMania that was during the coronavirus. They had to cancel everything. They canceled WrestleMania. I wonder what WWE's going to do at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. I don't know if they're ever going to get another one. Maybe they get WrestleMania 38, but I doubt that. It's not that, it's Tampa Bay, It's not they're not the kind of, city that's going to get a WrestleMania every, 4 or 5 years or something. So that does suck for them, but also at Tampa, it's possible that the Super Bowl gets canceled because they had a WrestleMania this year and they had the Super Bowl next year. They lost WrestleMania, and depending on what happens at the NFL season, I doubt they play it. There's a somewhat decent chance that they lose the Super Bowl, so that sucks for Tampa Bay. But that's it. That's Raw. So okay, let me just say this about WrestleMania before I go. I'm going to give WWE a pass. I've wanted them to move it, but I look at it as there's so much uncertainty going on that there's no way. I don't think there's any shot they're going to have a WrestleMania for SummerSlam for Boston. I don't think SummerSlam's going to take place this year. It'll be in a Performance Center like WrestleMania was. That's what's going to happen. I can't see that. So I just think with WWE, they're in a situation where if we do WrestleMania, we get it done, even though it's a joke. If we don't, we're probably not going to get a chance to do one this year because the coronavirus, and then, you're going to do one in the fall? By that time, you're going to start the build for WrestleMania 37. So it's a tough situation to be in. And I think in their mentality was, we need to get it out of the way. We need to do the show. And they're going to do it. It's done. The show has been recorded. There's no going back. They can't delay it now. It's going to air this weekend. Saturday, night 1. Sunday is night 2.